Hello there, my name is Susan Hamilton, and you're watching OBBM Live, where I'm talking to local businesses about the effects of shelter in place and our pandemic on our local business community. Because, as you know, the local business community is really a barometer for our growth and for consumer confidence. So that's our goal here. Today, I'm talking with Steve Winters, Homes of Heroes, which is really doing some amazing work. And so he's not local DFW, but local DFW, you need to know about him and you need to know about what he's going through, because I think it's really going to get you interested in our current economic environment. Welcome, Steve.
Hi, Susan. Thank you so much for having me.
So glad to have you. Tell us a little bit about Homes of Heroes. And yeah, as we've talked earlier, Homes for Heroes is wrong. That's not the same thing at all. Very different organization. Homes of Heroes has got another beautiful approach to supporting our military. So tell us all about it.
Absolutely. And yes, it's homesofheroes.com. My wife and I are the founders. And what we do is we dedicate and name properties in the San Antonio area after fallen service members who gave their life in defense of this country. It's specifically used for families that may be traveling into San Antonio for BMT graduations. Those homes can be booked by those families throughout the stay of their graduation week. And it's just a great connection between an active service member in conjunction with those that gave their life, the ultimate sacrifice in defense of this country. So when they enter the home, they're immediately welcomed by the hero of which the home has its name after. And we're just honored to be able to do it.
It is such an honor. As we spoke a little bit yesterday, getting ready for this discussion, it really, you could feel the weight right here. This is a big deal for the next generation. They're stepping into a spot, and we're not really convinced, most of us, that they understand the gravity of all of that. And you pull it together for the entire family, which I think is important, because until my daughter, I really didn't understand what that lifestyle was, how that would impact me. I didn't come from that. So what does that mean? Oh, wow, this is a group of people that they're going to have relationships forever.
Absolutely. And I think there's a great synergy between what it is that we do and what we currently find ourselves in a situation of with the COVID-19 situation. Because we see those that actually gave their life in defense of these freedoms of which you and I enjoy today. And really, that's really what I'd like to talk about, because we need to be advocates of freedom.
Yes.
As business owners, each and every one of us took an initiative from an entrepreneur perspective or a business perspective to step out there and say, you know what, we're going to take a chance on ourselves. We're going to take a chance on the American spirit with ingenuity to create something out of nothing, because that's what this country is all about.
Right.
And it wasn't until we were faced with the COVID-19 situation when really those liberties and freedoms are really at risk. And us as business owners, if we don't stand up for those freedoms, I want to ask you the question, who will? Nobody will.
Nobody will.
That's what we're here to do.
And I think that's interesting, and I believe that so strongly. But I think it's extra strong coming from you for two reasons. Well, three actually. Yes, you're a business owner. Yes, you are a veteran. Yes, your son is in the service. Yes, you understand the oath you took going into the service. What it is you're doing. Just because you will always be that'll always be a part of you, and it'll never be there. But you're also a man who comes from the healthcare industry. And so, you understand a handful of the things that we're seeing out here today. And we can agree that we had a crisis in our nation that was pretty doggone awful. But what we've got since then is an overreach that's very dangerous for our local business community. And if they don't stand up for their rights, absolutely. It's easy to lose them. It's not hard to lose them, but to gain them back costs blood.
Absolutely. I spent, and you're exactly right, I spent 25 years in the field of healthcare, specifically in orthopedics and hospice care. I was around the most vulnerable amongst us. I was around them every single day. So the initial steps that we took from a national perspective to isolate and distance from one another was the appropriate measures because we didn't have the information that we currently have today. We didn't have the data that we have today. But now that we have some real hard data, some real hard numbers, we understand that this is not as impactful as we once thought. Let me share some percentages with you.
All right.
We have a 2% percentage chance of survival of COVID-19, you and I have 100% of fatality, 100% of fatality rate if I allow my business to go under.
Absolutely.
That's not in question. So I'd rather, when I place myself around those, the most vulnerable amongst us, I'm going to take every precaution that I can to ensure their safety and my safety. But as a course of everyday life, I believe we're taking this far beyond what we should be doing. And it's really infringing on the benefits and the freedoms that we have as American citizens.
I think it's important to understand the distinction between the Constitution of the United States, which is the law of the land, that is the law of our land, and orders that come in and supersede that. And those are the types of things that we need to be very, very cautious about. We want to make sure we're preserving those, and that's not calloused. That's not a lack of love or a lack of empathy for our community. As you mentioned, we care more for them than any government ever will. We care for our family. We care for our community. We certainly never, if COVID was not a part of our conversation, there's no illness we'd ever want anyone to have because they were around us. There isn't anything that fits that criteria. There's just nothing.
Well, and something that's very interesting, and we've never heard this until COVID entered into the equation, there's between 35 and 60,000 American citizens that lose their life every single year from average flu season. That's every single year. Never before have we ever shut down. Have we heard the hysteria that we have seen from this COVID situation, which is it highly contagious? Yes. Should we take every precaution? Yes. But we also need to understand what we're sacrificing as a result of that. We're not saying we want to do this in lieu of, we want to do this in conjunction with. And that's the way that we can do that is maintain a society, to maintain an economy while we're protecting the most vulnerable amongst us.
So we've got a contact tracing bill that's about to be discussed. We've got some things going on because there's a lot of fear, and the idea is, hey, if we can find out exactly where you've been and everywhere you go, being a healthcare professional, is this something that sounds plausible to you?
No, and I can tell you that's a very slippery slope. Never before have we seen this, and that's why, as we were talking previously, there's much more to this than just our healthcare.
Yes.
We don't know all the ins and outs as to what that is. I believe I may have a little insight as to what that is, but that will bear itself out. So my encouragement to others would be, and I'm just going to tell you from my perspective, I've never had a flu shot in my entire life. I'm extremely healthy. I get rarely sick, nor will I ever have a COVID-19 shot, nor will I ever be traced, because as my right, I don't have to subject myself to those types of things. There's all types of natural remedies that one can partake in to keep themselves healthy that we're not hearing about. And I find that really ironic that we don't hear about such things because there's no profitability in those things, if you know what I'm saying.
I do, and there's being taken down if you speak of it, you understand. So that, to me, when I start looking at how much overreach, and that's what switched my opinion from, oh wow, this is great concern, to, oh, now I don't trust any of it. Because at this point, we get to it when you start looking at everybody sounding the same. See, that's what triggers me. My interest is always in journalism. That means there's two sides to a story. There's no such thing as one side only. That's an impossibility. So when that's the pervasive thing, it makes me wonder, okay, so in lieu of that, what do we do? So when I met you through a group that is saying, open up Texas. Let's start getting our businesses back. And what you're noticing is there's a lot of voices that are saying the same thing that you are. And we just want to encourage the marketplace out there and encourage the business community that we can start making better choices about how we're viewing this and how we're speaking of this. If everybody sounds the same, the consumers aren't going to know the difference, and they're going to be riddled with fear. That's dangerous for marketplace confidence. Consumer confidence, that's a dangerous thing to do.
You're exactly right. And I want to point out one clear distinction here so that everybody knows exactly where we're coming from. If I was in a retail or a traditional business, if you would, I would be open today. I would be exercising my constitutional rights to do so.
Yes.
Because Homes of Heroes, we are tied to the Air Force. When all the shutdowns began early March, they shut down any attendance from families coming into San Antonio to attend graduations. So our hands are really tied from being able to offer that housing to those families because they're not able to travel in. So what we did, we took a proactive approach with our families who had already pre-booked homes with us. We have sent back $51,000 to refund our families at a cost to us because that's the right thing to do. That's the right thing to do on behalf of our families, on behalf of our military, on behalf of the heroes that we name our homes after. That's just the right thing to do. And my wife and I, at whatever personal cost to us, will continue to do that so that we preserve the legacy of those that gave their life in defense of this country, because we're all in on this and we're not giving up and we're not giving in. So I just want to make that clear that I'm not talking out of both sides of my mouth. I'm not saying, yes, open your business, and yet here I sit with my business not open. There's a reason, a very unique reason as to why we're not open. We support the military and their decisions 100%. We back the Air Force 100%. We understand why they've made this decision, but that is why our business is not open today. But yet we work every day to preserve the legacy of those that gave their life and came before us.
That's right. And it's important to think about that when we're looking at our business and what rights we're willing to lay down. Because it's important just to be aware of it, right, and pay attention to the things that are going on through these discussions in our government and in our local governments, our local communities. It's very different what's going on in Lubbock. It's very different in DFW. Clearly it's different in Tennessee, Kentucky, and California. We are hearing in Chicago, right? We're hearing things that Michigan, the amount of overreach that can come near us. And we might think we're in a sweet little bubble, but I sure just read about what's going on in Austin today in Travis County. They've extended those orders for what, June 15th now?
That's correct.
How are our communities going to survive like that? Not only is that dangerous for the business, most businesses' friends, do you really think they're going to survive? And what happens to your community when that tax dollar is not in there? What happens to the community when they're not participating? Then you lose the mom and pop. And where do they get the money just to come back in and start again? Where's that money going to come from? Is that going to come out of your pocket? Is that going to, we're just going to make more money? We're just going to print it? We're going to print it.
That's exactly right. The one thing that you'll notice is they keep moving the goalposts on us. You know, first it was 15 days to slow the spread. Then that 15 became an additional 30. Then it's mid-May. Now it's mid-June, and they keep moving the goalposts on us. Well, let me tell you what, our businesses are dependent on commerce. It's dependent on the consumer. And I'm not going to sit idly by and hope that my government will take care of me. I'm not going to do that. That's no longer the America that I signed and gave an oath to defend and uphold whenever I took the oath of entering the Navy. And I'm not going to do it with my business either. I'm not going to do it for my family and for our heroes. I'm not going to do that.
No, it's a dangerous thing. And when we are looking at local government overreach, those are the areas where these things are happening and where we need to show ourselves strong and to be in business and to open up. And it's one thing if these things, the mainstream media is still showing that these are rising numbers, and everything else is saying that, no, that's not true. They've plateaued, they're going down. This isn't the same thing at all. So we've got a lot of conflicting information out there, and a lot of people would like to call it, a lot of different things. Common sense says we're going to take a look at this place and go, does this make sense? And who's going to come out in leadership over that, right? Who's going to come out in leadership? The United States of America is a sovereign nation. We have leadership, and we need to be playing a role here that's much stronger, but it'll never start. It'll never be top down. It's always going to be grassroots, people that realize what's going on. Think Boston Tea Party. Think the things that we've had to do that came down to a community decision, and it was always risky, right? There's a risk. There's always something that can come up and go, oh, wait a minute, I might lose favor in the marketplace. I might scare. Well, yeah. However, if you don't exist.
Exactly.
Someone's going to have to stand up and go, hey, I'm willing to step up. And those people, when they start paying attention to what's going on, and they start, eyes are open to, hey, this isn't right, something else is happening here, then they can see who stood up for them. That puts you in a very powerful place, and I suggest you step into it.
One thing that I love about the messaging and what you're trying to get accomplished by putting this out into the mainstream is that people need to understand that if you don't stand up for your rights, who will? You have to stand up for your own rights. We were born into this country a blessed people to be able to do that. And the fact that we're allowing ourselves to be silenced by those that really don't have our best interests at heart really speaks volumes. And it's not the country that I grew up in. It's completely different. And it's amazing how things have changed in just a short period of time, that we've allowed the freedoms that we've heard and read and lived by for all of these years and decades have just seemed to be fall by the wayside in these last 2 months.
Yeah, we
And
haven't paid attention.
we haven't paid attention. We can't be frozen by our fear. We have to be invigorated because of it. And
As
I
a
love
healthcare professional, how do you feel about people that would say, if you go back to work and open your business, you're putting my life in danger? What would you say to that?
I would say by not opening my business, you're putting my life in danger. And here's what I mean by that. If you feel unsafe to go into the environment, don't do so.
Stay
But
home.
stay home. I'm going to respect your decision to do so, but please respect my decision not to do so. I have this conversation amongst people all the time about how come I don't wear a mask? How come I don't wear gloves? And I said, the quickest way we can get back to normal is by acting normal.
Oh my goodness, loving that.
You know, I don't want this to become the new way of life.
You are advocating for us to get back to business as usual, so as soon as possible, so that our communities can believe in the culture of local again.
Absolutely. And if I can serve as, if Homes of Heroes can serve as a voice of inspiration, I want to encourage all your viewers to take a look at homesofheroes.com. On there, they can get on there and see videos of the fallen that we have named homes after, to help that inspire them, to help them to see the story of those that gave their life in defense of our country, to see exactly the good things that are happening. So we would encourage everybody to visit us at homesofheroes.com. We'd love to see you there.
Thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate you. Friends, we've got the Offbeat Business Alliance group page where we'll be sharing this and other information about getting our nation strong post-COVID. Thank you so much for your time, Steve. Until next time, you've been watching OBBM Live.